There's one other thing I want to talk about. I think it's just about living the creative life, like walking the pathless path. Like people always ask me, what is the pathless path? What does that mean? And I think if I was to best describe it, it's like you go through different times of life. Like you go through, like in your life, you'll have like a bad story, like, oh, this happened, I can't believe this happened, this is so bad, and then you move from the bad story to the good story, which is like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad this happened, thank God this happened, because if this didn't happen, I wouldn't have become strong and I wouldn't have become the good story. And then when you go beyond the bad story and the good story, you come to the legend, the end of the legend, where you live your legend, where you jump off into the unknown. It's only when you let go of the bad story, the good story, and you let go of the mind and you live your legend. And that is where you enter the pathless path. The pathless path is unknown. It's like walking the trail through the forest where there is no trail. There's no good, there's no bad. There's just the way. And you can't even know what's next. And to jump off that ledge, it takes ultimate courage. And it's like, I always say it's when you go from the known, what you've known, which is like this, maybe you believe that you're just this way and you're only this way and life is this way and it can't be any other way because that's what you've known. So when you go from the known to the unknown is a huge jump. And in that unknown, which is like, is every possibility. Everything's possible. Because right now, everything's happening. Everything. So we go from the known to the unknown. And then when you fully enter the unknown, which is the pathless path, you enter into the unknowable. The unknowable is what we can never know. Like what's causing the sun to rise and the sun to set, what's beating the heart. It's like the divine intelligence that's governing, the entire planet beyond. It's the unknowable. We think we know, but we don't know anything. I don't know anything. Yeah. So when you enter into the pathless path, it is about really embracing the unknown. And that for most of my clients that I work with, whether it, especially in my coaching and mentoring, people who are ready to go from the known into the unknown. And so, for instance, I mentored someone from Texas who was in the corporate world, who quit his job and was ready to go into his own business. And he sought me out and he didn't know how to navigate in the unknown because he's always had someone telling him what to do and and all his, everything came from the outside in. So when you move to the known to the unknown, you have to start moving from the inside out. And that's where you begin to be guided by your intuition, by your internal guidance system. And you can't navigate the pathless path without it, because you're not going to get any clues from the outside world, because it doesn't come from out there. So it's learning how to navigate from this intuitive place, and it's a whole other way of being. And for the person who comes from the known world, it's terrifying, and to let go of what you've known and to enter into this new place, that's how they say it's like a death of the ego, a death of what you know. And it's a huge process of kind of like the caterpillar can never know the life of the butterfly. It can never know it. It can't even know what it's going to be like to have wings. It has to literally die to become the butterfly. So it's just this process. So I find my clients who find me, it's just that they're embarking on this whole new adventure, and learning skills to embark down that path. So yeah, just like today, this is the pathless path. Like, I didn't know what I was going to say today. I didn't know how this was all going to come to be. It's just, we show up and we dive in and we, trust in something greater, and then we just let it be. Where this is going to go, I don't even know. One of my mentors was saying something about, I spent years trying to know, more degrees than you could ever imagine. When I realized I didn't know anything other than I knew something was moving me, right? Something that moved me, something moves you. So it's like you try to know everything, but when you finally come to realizing you can't know anything, there's what happens in the unknown is magic and miracles and guidance. Yeah, the journey is going from here to here. When I did my Unleashing Creativity documentary and we met Carlos Santana, he said, the journey is 12 inches long.
That's interesting.
It's from here to here. And he said, and that journey is treacherous because you have to go through all the things that made you hide up in your head. That means you got to feel for all the things that you didn't feel for, all those betrayals, all that, it's coming back into the feeling life, because when you are moving from that intuitive place, which is the heart space, you're connected to all life, and if you haven't felt that emotion or like those feelings, you're blocked. That's what so it's coming back into the feeling life and being okay with everything, because my sadness is your sadness, my fear is your fear. Like, once I have come to accept it in myself and feel it deeply, I now have the space for you and for everyone. It's that, so we empty out the heart, and that's the path back to the vibrational, whatever you want to call it, God. It's back through that. You can't mentalize it, physicalize it. It's through the heart. The heart is the portal. And that's the work we do to keep ourselves open and clear, and so we can return back to that place of emptiness and silence and stillness and space, which is so uncomfortable. And I just recently read something kind of interesting, that the word heaven actually means space. Space. Meaning, like, there's the place of form, and then there's the formlessness. Like, there's space, there's silence, there's stillness. In that space is what we think is nothingness or emptiness, but it's everything. When you finally return back there, and it's like those are like the roots. So yeah, so it's a journey coming back to that space, and then from there, letting yourself be moved, be guided, not thinking how it's going to, you don't know, letting go of the head, the mind, the thinker. And I personally do practices every day. I don't know, like my Surrender to the Flow book is truly like how I practice my intuitive muscle, like simple drawings, simple, just like getting into my body, like move, it's because it's going to happen here in the presence. So